Hunting in southeast Montana, it starts off with a kick. I mean, right out of the gate, we were seeing game. And not just whitetails. This place is loaded with mule deer. And I knew right away after a few hours in the field that this hunt was going to be successful.
One thing about the Powder River, you have a lot of land to look at. From river bottom to the foothills to the grasslands. You got anywhere from 700 to 900,000 acres. No way possible you can see that much land in a 5-day hunt.
You got him, Eddie?
Yeah, he looks pretty good, doesn't he?
That's a good buck.
It is a good buck. Man, his G3s, G4s, all of his points
everything.
are good.
His brows are over 5.
Yeah.
I bet that buck there scores close to 150 easy.
Yeah, he's pushing 150. Young buck, too.
Hey, got just a light frame body. That's gonna be you give that buck 1-2 years at most, and he'll be pushing 160 right up there at Boone and Crockett.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's got the makings.
But we got one big problem. He's on the other side of the river, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got to make a move, and looks like he's pretty settled in, doesn't he?
That buck was rutting hard. He was chasing does, determined right away he was a shooter, but he was across the river. Yep, he's coming right behind her. I'm gonna get up on this tree and get a rest.
All right. We'll get a range on him.
How far, man? How far?
190 yards.
Too far.
190.
Too far.
We better try to close the distance.
Whoa. Man, they're spooking him. There he goes. And we just couldn't close the ambush on him. But not to worry. There were more bucks and more opportunities. Yes, that's one opportunity that went down the drain, so to speak. Stand hunting has been a tradition in whitetail hunting for as long as you and I can probably remember. But there's also another way to take whitetails, and that is using stalking in combination with still hunting. Now, still hunting is really an art, and a lot of people have lost it because they don't practice it. You move slowly through the woods, quietly, stopping often. In fact, you're stopped more often than you're moving. And when you stop, you need to have a good binocular. Kind of depends on what you like for powers and models. I tend to stay with an 8 or 10 power, but a good quality binocular so you can peer into the timber, into the brush pockets, and take it apart piece by piece and look for those deer parts. An ear, the dark nose, especially the wet shiny part, an eye, the throat patch, the flick of a tail, and that horizontal body line. These are all things you need to see before the deer sees you. Beside a binocular, you want to be quiet, so you need to wear quiet clothing. Fleece, polyester, wool, anything that doesn't rub and make noise. You also want to wear quiet foot gear. Now, big rubber boots, they again have been tradition for as long as I can remember. But when I'm in the woods still hunting, I try to wear almost a sneaker style boot. You can see from the tread that it is quiet, yet it's got just enough grip to keep you moving through the woods. Another thing I do when I'm moving slowly through the woods, because you can never move quietly enough, carry this, your grunt tube. Deer grunt off and on all throughout the fall, but especially during the pre-rut and the peak of the rut. So when you're moving along making that noise, it doesn't hurt just to toss a grunt out every once in a while. So if you use these tactics and a lot of patience, you're going to end your still hunt successfully, hopefully with a big buck. You know, anywhere along here we can run into whitetails.
Yeah. We just want to make sure we take our time. That's a good spot back in there.
Those willow thickets right on the bank, those are always prime bedding spots, aren't they?
Yep. They really like to get in there where it's nice and shady.
It's supposed to get warm today too. I mean, it's already.
Yeah,
It's already warm.
it's fairly warm for the end of November.
Let's get down along the bank maybe and take a look up the river. I would assume, as hot as it is, they're going to be wanting to get a drink too. So anywhere along these river corridors is probably a good place to set up. And
Yep.
do a little rattling, a little glassing, and then just keep still hunting. That looks like a really good chunk of timber, doesn't it? Back into that oxbow.
Yeah, that's a good spot back in there.
I mean, that's classic bedding area right along there on the bank.
Yep. And that river makes that bottleneck back in there. They can access that from either side of the river and get in and get out if they need to.
I think that should be our prime target. What do you think?
Yep.
This is the way I always like to get in on these deer, is to get on these
down
banks.
under the bank.
You lead though. Let's get up by this dead pond. We can maybe look down the river a little bit further.
Let's get right up here and do some glassing down this river edge.
Got some cover here we can hide behind. There's deer right there, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a doe. There's a buck.
There's a good buck.
There's a good buck.
Okay.
Looks like they're headed, maybe even across the river. Mark, we need to go. We need to cut that deer off.
Go.
Let's get right up here and do some glassing down this river edge.
Got some cover here we can hide behind. Finally, our opportunity came together. We'd been still hunting along the bank of the river, peeking out into these big oxbows across the river and on our side of the river, see if we could spot any activity, when all of a sudden we saw a good group of deer moving towards our side of the river. There's deer right there, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a doe. There's a buck.
There's a good buck.
There's a good buck.
There's a really, okay.
Looks like they're headed, maybe even across the river. Mark, we need to go. We need to cut that deer off.
Let's go. Thinking fast, we put together a plan. We decided to do something most whitetail hunters wouldn't even think about. They're still out of sight. Keep going. When the deer got out of sight, we took off running on an intersecting point that would hopefully cut them off.
Close the distance, right up here. Here they come, here they come.
There's a buck right there.
Yep.
There's another buck.
There's another buck. Here comes a bigger buck. Here comes a bigger buck.
Is he a shooter?
Yep, he's a shooter.
Yeah, he's a shooter. He's a good one. Here we go.
Right at 100 yards.
Okay.
Pick your spot and squeeze.
You watch. Watch the shot for me. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
He's down. You got him.
He just folded.
Folded. Nice shot, Mark. That's a great deer. He just buckled and went down.
Man, the old muzzleloader just
muzzleloader.
put the hurt on him. Look at that.
That is a good deer, too. Let's go take a look.
Tell you what, give me 1 second. Let me reload this, okay? Just in
Okay.
case. Holy cow.
That is a mature whitetail buck.
Oh, man. He's down.
He's done.
Look at that. You know what? I didn't know he was this good. I didn't know he was
That
this
is
good.
a good deer.
Look at that. Look at the mass on it.
That thing.
Oh,
That is a good whitetail buck.
I can't believe this. Look at the cape on him. Look at that dark head on him.
He is a
Jake.
mature deer, boy. He has got a body size to him.
These brows, I mean, that one just broke. Look, there's no staining, and he hasn't even rubbed. You can tell he's been rubbing a lot.
It's
But
fresh.
that brow is incredible. And you know, I've been in Saskatchewan this year. I didn't see a deer this good in Saskatchewan. That is a bruiser.
That is a good deer. Made a great shot on him.
Keep going. Keep going. Man, they're really flying. When we got to the middle section of the woods where the deer were moving, we had beat them. And we set up fast, and man, things happened fast right after that. deer just started spilling out around us, right and left, mainly right in front of me, and all of a sudden, we saw what we wanted, a big, mature whitetail.
Take that brow out, I want to see it. I know you're the tool man, you got the tape with you. I saw you fooling with it earlier.
Just over 6 1/4.
Whew, 6 1/4. Go!
That is a good deer.
Well, you're right about one thing, the work is going to begin, so you ain't going to get a truck back here, we're going to have to use the back.
Tell you what, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get the vehicle here.
I'd like you to try first, then we'll resort to the backpack.
That's right.
All right.
Well,
Let's get her done, as they say down in South.
let's get her done.